tonight. My name is Tanika. I am from Real 365. I do these bi-weekly independent filmmaker chats. I sit down with an independent filmmaker, a Black independent filmmaker, and we talk all things or some things film and whatever else they'd like to discuss. We talk about their backgrounds and just I want this to be a platform to put a spotlight on independent filmmakers, to talk about what they have going on, to help people that may be interested in starting a path in film or television for that matter. And tonight I am sitting down with Dallas Alexis. Hi Dallas, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight. So you're in the New York area, right?
Yes, I'm in Brooklyn, New York to be exact.
All righty. Okay, so I guess we'll just get started with you telling everyone a little bit about yourself, and then we will carry on from there.
Oh, okay. Where should I start? I'm a native of Brooklyn, New York. I've been in the TV and film business for about 13 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I started like 03, 04. I started taking it seriously around 03, 04. And I'm still going. I'm still rocking and rolling. It's been good. It's been bad. It's been up. It's been down. But it's been very, very fulfilling. And I can't ever see myself doing anything else but creating content and contributing to the industry.
Mm. Okay, so you started No, go on.
No. Go ahead. I was being a little bit long.
You say you started in 03, 04. How did that come about? What had you grown up loving film, or like how did it start that you start in TV and film?
Oh, okay. It started. I guess it started when I was a kid. I knew I always wanted to do something creative. Ever since I was a young kid, I started off writing. I started writing essays and essays. I was the kid that came home from a summer break, and the teacher would say, "Hey, write a paragraph about your summer," and my paragraph would turn into 2 pages about what my summer was. Yeah, and then so from there, I always know how to a knack for writing and storytelling. So storytelling turned into writing short stories, and then short stories turned into writing writing feature scripts and so on and so on. So I went to college for TV and film. I went to Morgan State University where I was.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to Morgan. I'm a Morgan alum.
I'm about 20 minutes from Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're in Maryland, in Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, not in Baltimore, but I'm in between.
In the county.
And in between Baltimore, I'm in Laurel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know exactly where you are.
Yeah.
So so I went to Morgan for TV and film. And then from Morgan, I kind of films, working for free on anything that I could kind of gain some experience. Anywhere I could get my foot in the door, I was interning and working for free. And I finally got my break on a short film called The Last Laugh, where I was a boom operator. Mm-hmm. Never did anything sound related at all. And I just got my shot on it as a PA.
Wow.
So I want to backtrack. From PAing, I PA'd on one thing and PA'd on another thing. Would you say, Tanika, it kind of froze a little bit?
Yeah, we kind of froze a little bit. I was holding until you came back in. Okay. I want to touch on something that you said. So you did go to film school, but you brought up a very important point was that you worked on as much as you could, and whether you were getting paid or not didn't matter. It was just trying to get that experience and exposure.
Yeah, I probably worked for like maybe almost a year and a half to 2 years for free.
Wow.
I worked on a lot of student films, a lot of and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna give you like a little not a secret because I'm sure everybody's done it, but like I just used to go on Craigslist and I went in like the film and TV category for like, jobs and stuff. I went to this other site called Mandy.com, and I would just look for work. I was fresh out of college. I was looking to, looking to get my feet in the business. So like for 2 years, I worked for like free.
Yeah. Because as filmmakers, you're always looking for help. So yeah, definitely. Yes. If you want to be on set with someone, you can definitely find it. You just have to look. Just have to look for those opportunities.
Yeah. And that was pretty much what the idea was. I wanted to get on set, and anywhere I could find my way onto the set, so I can watch. Yeah. So I can watch, so I can learn, learn as much as I can. And I was working for free, but then I gained, and which to this day, which I've used over the years, and kind of helped me through my journey. So I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't go back and change that. But so it was definitely a cool experience. Those 2 years of working for free.
So the 2 years of you working for free, you started out, you say boom operator. Were there any other places that or did you just work whatever?
Oh yeah. Actually, you know what? I gotta actually go back before that. I actually worked on a music video with of course you know who Puff Daddy is, right?
Yeah.
He had a group called Total. Remember Total? They were shooting a music video in my neighborhood, and I was a PA on set for that actual video. And I worked from 6 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock in the morning. And I got paid $50, which I got in the mail a month later. So from there, I was like, yo, this is the business that I want to be in. Like, this is what I want to do. And then from there came the film where I was the boom operator. And then after that, it was just kind of like just small films that I wasn't getting paid for. But like when I started getting paid, I PA'd a little bit when I did start getting paid. And then that's when I actually got into the business. So like after the 2 years, like I was still doing a little bit of PR.
Did you get the PA gigs, you think, because you were in school? Or did you just talk your way well into getting the PA positions?
I did PA positions a little bit of both, because I think like you still have to go on an interview, and they still want to see like what your appearances. They still want to hear you talk, and they still want to. I guess they want to know if this is something that you really want to do. Because the thing about being on a film set, it's grueling, especially if it's a small set where you're asked to wear a bunch of different hats, and they have you going to get water, you're going on runs, and you might have to go grab the van and go pick up an actor, and you might have to come back within 20 minutes. So I guess sometimes when they're hiring PAs, I guess they're looking to see if you're dedicated, if this is something that you really want to do.
Right.
So some of it you could talk your way into it, and I guess sometimes like they really want to kind of feel you out and see.
Yeah.
So it was a mix. Like sometimes I kind of talk my way onto a set. They'd be like, nah, we have more than enough PAs. I'm like, nah, but like this is da-da-da. And then, you hit them with a little bit of stuff. Yeah. And they'd be like, okay, come on. Yeah.
But right now, do you work full-time in film and TV?
Well, At one point I did.
Okay.
At one point, you know, like when I was really hitting my stride, like I was working, I was jumping from project to project.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, I worked on a Chappelle show for a season. I worked on The Apprentice for like 5 seasons. You know, so I was working from show to show, project to project for like years on end. Like, you know, that's the hustle. Like, you know, like when you're a freelancer, like you know, you work 3 months here, 2 months here,
Yeah.
4 months, then by the time you look up, the year's over.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like my routine for like years. For like maybe out of the 13 years, for like maybe 7 to 8 years, that was my routine.
Nice.
Where I was working steadily in TV and film. I'm talking about like just steady work, like it was just flowing, it was just rocking. And then I got to a point where I said, you know what? I'm tired of working on everybody else's projects. I'm tired of sitting in production meetings and seeing how much production companies are getting for budget for their productions and saying, wow, I could do that. Like, I want 2.5 million for a budget, you know.
Right.
Then, you know, so I made a conscious effort to stop the hustle and bustle of the freelance aspect. And I started to build my own production company where I wanted to focus on making my own content.
Yeah.
And consulting and providing the service to you know, to other writers, other companies that, you know, that could use my services.
Yeah.
And so I would say out of the 13, maybe like a good 7 to 8 years, I was just with the hustle.
Okay.
And then over the past five or so, I've just concentrated on my own stuff and working as a consultant as well as a writer and director for hire.
Okay. So you write, direct, you produce as well?
I produce as well, yeah. And I consult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which hat do you prefer? So if you could make your living off of one, would you choose one or you mix?
You know what? I would probably, I kind of love the producing is hard.
I hate production.
It's so meticulous. And you know what? Yeah. It's like you have to keep everybody together. It's like you're the one running around and, you know, putting the crew together, and it's calling actors to make sure they make their call times. And hey, I'll leave that to the producer. You know, like the master of producing. You do it,
right?
Because that's a monster on all to itself.
All to itself, exactly.
You know, and I respect a really, really good producer, because I think a really, really good producer really pushes your project all the way. So I definitely respect producers and what they do. I could do it, but I stay away from that. Like, I leave that to the experts.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, I would say direct.
Direct?
Yeah. I started off writing, like, I only started to direct to bring my scripts to life. And then once I got into directing, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the whole bringing you know, what was on that paper to life. So if I had to pick one, it'll probably be direct.
Direct.
Yeah.
Now, you went to film school. You've worked pretty steadily. Would you say that film school is a must?
It's not for everybody. I don't think it's a must. No, but what is a must, I would say, like, whatever you want to do. If you want to write, direct, if you want to do hair, you want to style, you want to act, I think what you should do is you should do as much research, as much hands-on research, as much reading, as much picking the people's brains as you can. Like, you have to own your craft and build your skill level up. Like, even if you don't go to film school, the way modern technology is, it allows you to get that same information that you would get inside a classroom, but you have to be super disciplined, and you have to go get the information. You can't be lazy about it. And I think it all depends on what you want to do within the business. I think film school can benefit you depending on what you want to do. And it could also slow your process down, because you might spend 4 or 5 years in film school when you should be on set. You know, shadowing the director.
Doing and learning, as opposed to just learning.
Yeah, and then when you come home, you hit the internet, you hit Google, you hit YouTube, you hit like a wealth of different blogs and forums that'll give you that information that you're looking for. But you have to constantly continue to practice and work on that skill that you're trying to get paid for. If you don't go to school.
Yeah. So for those of us who have not been on a Hollywood type set, you've been on, more than one. How was that? What's the vibe? What's the culture like?
Okay.
I think everyone is trying to get into Hollywood.
Okay.
You hear stories that it's not Hollywood when you when you get on set. So.
I mean, well, like when you're on a movie set, because I've worked on a TV set. I've worked on in studio productions for TV, reality stuff, and then I've worked on film. I'm talking about like Hollywood films, and then there's the independent Hollywood films. Now, let's just start off with like the Hollywood films, like a big budget film. What it's like, it's sometimes you're kind of like, you're like a small fish in a big pond when you're on a Hollywood set sometimes. The sets are so huge. There's so much people on set. Depending on what you're doing, you might just get lost in the sauce. Like, let's say if you come in as a PA on a big Hollywood set, there might be 100 PAs on set. And you might be assigned to stand right by this door for the whole day while they're shooting this, like the scenes down the block.
Wow.
So sometimes you might have that experience, like where you're just like, it's so much going on. It's a huge set, and you might just get lost in the sauce. And then you might have like a Hollywood film, but it's a smaller budget film. It might be an independent film where you actually, it's not 100 PAs, it might be 30. Where you're actually in the mix, you could see what's going on. You might be a sign actor or the main actress, and you might actually get a chance to be in the mix. But the thing about a Hollywood set, no matter small or big, everything is a big deal. Because there's so much money being spent. Everything is a big deal. Like, I'm talking about, if there's not coffee on that crafty table, when that actress says, hey, can somebody grab me a coffee? And there's no coffee, it's a big deal. Like, everything is, and everything is kind of ran like like a well-oiled machine. It's everything's a big deal. But it's a great place to learn, great place to be if you want to see how a Hollywood set is run. It's a great place to learn, or a great place to be.
Just be thrown in the fire.
Yes. Yes.
And long days as well on set.
Oh yeah. But then you have like meal penalties, and you have that stuff. The days are long, but they're structured, and you can't just get away with having a long day. Like, a long day entails like the proper lunch breaks, and if you don't get the lunch break at the right time, you're going to get paid for not having a lunch break on time. But the days could be, I'm talking about anywhere from 12 to 18 hours. Grueling stuff. Yeah.
That is grueling.
Yeah. You got to love it. I'm telling you, like, to work in this business, you have to love it. You got to want to do this.
Yeah. So let's get into some of the projects that you made. You said you started off with shorts.
Started off in shorts, yeah. And then
So what do you write? First off, what genre?
um I started off writing comedy.
Yeah.
And then from comedy kind of led me to dramedy, which is like a mix of like, comedy and drama. And then now I kind of write, I'm more like drama. I'm more so drama with with a with a real sarcasm twist to it, like a little sprinkle of sarcasm.
Okay.
But I'm kind of really, really digging drama now. And I try to have a socially conscious message to everything I do. Make sure it be a comedy, drama. I try to put some kind of social conscious message in there. So right now, like I'm writing mostly drama right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started off with comedy. When you made your first few shorts, what'd you do with them? Did you do film festival run? Did you have your own showings?
Yeah.
Did you sell them yourself? What'd you do?
Okay. Well, the first short I ever did was a short called 4 Years. Ironically, it was a drama. Ironically. So with that film, I did it just so I could prove to myself that I could do this.
Yeah.
Like I wrote the script and I sent it out to my friends and I told them to give me honest feedback. If it's whack, let me know it's whack. What do I need to change? Is it solid? And ironically, I got a really, really good feedback from it. Okay. And then from writing that one script, I said, I want to shoot this. So I kind of took like $900 out the bank. Like I just took it out, took $900 out. I got with another friend of mine who was in film school as well. And he wanted to be a cinematographer. So he was able to, like on a Saturday, he was able to go into school, have access to the school, and like he was able to,
equipment.
Get some of that equipment. And but he was like, so he took the equipment out on like a Saturday morning. He was like, I gotta have this back by like Monday morning, like 7:30 before class starts.
Exactly.
Before they find it missing. So we shot, like my whole first short film was shot in a matter of 2 days in a weekend because we had to get the equipment back.
Right.
Yeah. And then from making that film, I actually shot that on film. It was actually shot on 16 millimeter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because everything's digital now. Nobody really shoots on film now.
Yeah.
So so I shot that on film. And the response was great. Like I actually won a film festival, the Seoul Film Festival in Norfolk, Virginia. I'll never forget that. I actually won that festival. And then from doing that one film, I just wanted to prove to myself and like give myself the confidence that I could do this.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just kept writing and writing and writing until my second film was a film called, what was that film? Unfamiliar Paintings, which was, do you remember BET's Lens on Talent?
Yeah.
It got accepted to Lens on Talent and it premiered on BET Lens on Talent. And then from airing on Lens on Talent, it was on BET's Lens on Talent website for like 3 or 4 years. It was just on the site. And like we got over like, I want to say maybe 3,400 views, almost 4,000 views online.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then from there, I just kept it going from there. Like, You
had a good momentum.
And then, but then throughout all of that, I was still learning the business. And I was learning, like, everyone would always say, there's no money in shorts. There's no money in shorts. So I was trying to learn the business. But there is money in shorts. Over the years, I've learned licensing and how to license out your material and your content. So so over the past 3 years, I've kind of been diving into that side, and it's worked. It's been good.
Good. So you were doing shorts for a while. How long before you started on your first feature? Like how long were you doing shorts, you think, before you started your first feature?
I want to say probably like maybe a couple of years, or like kind of like simultaneously. Like I would write shorts, and then I would write certain material that I knew that I wanted it to be long form,
Yeah.
and I would just write 10, 15 pages and leave it. Then I would go back and then I would write a short for 5 pages because ideas would just pop in my head, and I was like, let me just write this and
Yeah.
just write it, and then I'll go back to the long form, next week or like tomorrow.
Okay.
You know.
So your transition to doing the feature, how was that different? Obviously, the time for filming, and I assume budget was more. Was that a lot harder for you to go from just doing a short to doing a feature?
Um, it was a lot more moving parts.
Yeah.
A lot more moving parts. Aside from the budget, of course, bigger budget, a lot more moving parts. Insurance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes when you do a short, you just like, let's knock this out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's knock this out. But then when like when we got into doing features, we got into like SAG agreements, we got into deal memos, we got into insurance and all these moving parts where a producer comes into place, like, well, I don't want to touch all that stuff because that's when he or she, they take care of all that stuff. So definitely bumping up to do a feature is definitely a whole other monster.
Yeah. So your first feature, what was the title of that?
My first feature was called Gotta Get Mine. It was independent. Gotta Get Mine was independent. Oh man, you bring back some real crazy with that film. And we shot it for like $25,000. Yeah, and that was like in 07, 08.
Okay.
And I guess around that time, like having $25,000, like we were very ambitious. We were like, yo, that's a lot of money. Let's do this feature.
Right.
I mean, $25,000 now, that's like the camera.
Right. So how did you guys raise the $25K then? Did you
out of our own pockets. I got two friends of mine that I went to high school with, and one of my friends, we actually wrote the script together. And we, and then we got another friend of ours that was a business major, and he wanted to kind of get into business, and we kind of sat down with him. He was like, yo, look, we got this feature film, we're gonna do it, get these DVDs, and then then we're gonna put it on YouTube, and we just had all these ideas what we're gonna do with the film. So we talked them into it, and we shot it. We did it, and it took us about 7 months.
Okay.
To shoot it.
To work around everyone's schedule.
And at the time, I was still actually working in the business at the
time. Yeah.
I think I was actually working at MTV at the time because I actually worked at MTV for 6 years. So at that time, I was still working at MTV trying to do the film and stuff like that. So
you guys got the film done. Did you submit to festivals, or did you do like straight to DVD and then
straight to DVD? We're going straight to DVD, and this is the thing. Post actually cost the same amount of money that production costs.
Really?
Did
you shoot on film again?
No. We shot on. It was digital.
Okay.
But it was right when the little mini DV tapes were going into digital. So we shot on mini DV tapes.
Yeah.
And then, but at the time not knowing that we had to convert
those tapes.
mini DV into digital, because it was analog. So we had to convert analog into
Right.
digital. Then
Right.
then we had to edit. It was a lot.
How much
It was a
more
lot.
time
But
did that add to post to getting the film done?
I want to say production was about 6.5, 7 months. I want to say post was like maybe 3, 4 months.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm telling you this. Like working on a feature film, it's an event. It's a journey,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm telling you, like through the whole between production and post production, like we've uh, uh, had to fire editors, then we had to bring in different cameramen,
Yeah.
actors dropped out, then came back in because they were dealing with a situation. So it's, it was definitely a journey, but a learning experience nevertheless.
Yeah. So the key is to plan as much as you can up front. As much as you can up front. Because like you said, you have actors that'll drop out. You may have to fire people. So whatever you can be in control of before you start, do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because like when you like working on a film, and this is like from Hollywood all the way down to like independent film,
Micro budgets.
micro budget. It's like everybody goes through the same like scenarios. Like things happen.
Yes.
I mean, you can't control weather, you can't control sickness, you can't control attitudes,
Yeah.
you can't control incompetence, you can't control running out of money. Sometimes running out of money you can't control, but sometimes you can't.
Right.
And like you just have to deal with the things as they go. But planning, being very, very meticulous definitely will help minimize a lot of like hiccups or snags along the way.
Right. Right.
Definitely.
So you did a video for Diddy. You've worked The Apprentice and MTV. Out of the films and the TV sets you've been on, are there any scenarios that like stick out in your head as crazy?
Or
do you know lesson, crazy, huge lesson, whatever, anything that sticks out in your mind?
I've seen a lot of things happen. You know who Gerard Butler is? Gerard Butler.
Uh-huh.
I was actually his personal assistant on the film P.S. I Love You.
That's one of my favorite films, actually.
Yeah, I was actually his assistant for that whole film.
Wow.
And working on that, I actually got a chance to see how Hollywood actors prep for a role.
Uh-huh.
How much they prep and how much they don't prep.
Oh.
Right? And like I was actually got a chance to really see the inner workings of how a Hollywood actor really works.
Okay.
And that right there, I was like, wow, this is what it is. But I would say throughout my whole, like, there's been so much. The amount of money they get for these budgets, like, made me go, wow. Like actors oversleeping and not, and I'm talking about Hollywood actors, not the one I worked with, but like just like the demands that they would have on production. Working 19 hours.
Yeah.
But something that would stand out, like a scenario. I'm trying to think of one. Like, nothing's ever really crazy happened to me on this.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
You've lucked out then. If there's been no craziness. Like you've really been blessed though to be able to work on so many sets and get so much experience. Like you were really hungry. Clearly, just really hungry.
I was. I mean,
Yeah.
but you know what is? I think I think that's um. Of course, I was definitely hungry, but I think for you to get to a certain level, as far as being really good
Hmm.
at doing something, um, anything, right? Anything in life, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's just say this business, like to get to a point where like you're really good at something, where you're considered um an expert or a specialist, like where people are willing to pay you. I
Yeah.
think there's a process that you have to go through. And sometimes there is no right or wrong way to get into the business,
Hmm.
but you're gonna have to learn how to do these things. You're gonna have to, and like sometimes by trial and error, sometimes you got to jump in it.
Yeah.
Um, and like with me, and I'm sure I can speak for yourself and a lot of African Americans, we come into this business um, by ourselves. Like there's no nepotism. Like our moms and dads and uncles weren't in Hollywood.
Right.
A lot of times we're the one that says, "Hey, I want to go do this," and so we have to figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so like my first few years in the business, I'm like, I need to figure this out on my own. Like I didn't have an uncle that was a DP. I didn't
Right.
have an aunt that was a stylist
Right.
that could walk me in to CBS and be like, yo, here's my nephew, give him a job. It was
Exactly.
me, being persistent and working for free and watching and listening and asking questions that kind of got me to where I am now.
Yeah.
Everybody's path is different, but I think, to truly get that experience, you got to get in there and get your hands dirty. You
Yeah.
have to. That's the only way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Let's fast forward a bit to what you're working on now.
Okay, cool. What I'm working on now is I actually just finished a web series called New York Underground Kings. This is it right here. This is the logo.
Nice. That's a
New
hot
York,
logo.
shameless plug. Um, so we just finished a series. Again, it's called New York Underground Kings, where it was 10 episodes. I directed all 10 episodes, and I co-wrote about 5 or 6 of the episodes.
Hmm.
And I was, kind of like part of the creative team for putting the web series together. So right now we're kind of like in our promo stage. So like we're doing interviews, and we've been getting a lot of cool write-ups from a lot of blogs and stuff, and so that's kind of like my most recent project that's kind of like fresh out the oven. It's done,
Hmm.
and I have 2 films right now that are on the festival circuit, that are coming off the festival circuit
Hmm.
and actually transitioning into the new festival circuit coming up in 2017,
Hmm.
and that were actually on TV for like the past 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's hear it. What is it? What titles are those? What are the
So, um,
titles?
so, so the first film is called Repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
Repercussions, and like has been really good. Like Repercussions had kind of took me all over the country. I've screened. I'm talking about from New York all the way back to California with this film.
Nice.
And it was on Magic Johnson's network, Aspire,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the Aspire network. And it was also, do you know the ABFF
Yeah.
Presents?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was also part of ABFF Presents, um, like a package of films that ABFF
Shows
put out there.
they show those on BET,
And
right?
it was chosen and was screened on Magic Johnson's network
Okay.
for, I want to say it was on the network for like a year, like
Okay.
just on like reruns and stuff. Yeah, so it's doing pretty cool. And the second one is called What Goes Around.
Mm-hmm.
And What Goes Around, I actually finished that early this year. It's actually fairly new. What Goes Around is actually maybe a couple of months old.
So
And
that's what'll be in festivals for next year. That one.
yes, and I'm
Okay.
actually working on a licensing deal for that, for what goes around.
Nice. So
Yeah.
where would you like to see the web series go? Would you
Oh
like to
man.
film more, or is the plan for it to
Um.
for somebody to pick it up
So
on TV?
yes. So for the web series, what I want to happen is, they usually say it takes about a year for a web series to catch on.
Yeah.
With the masses, they say about a year. So we're not at a year yet. So
Okay.
like July will make a year for next July 2017 will make a year for us.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to happen is I actually want our season 2
Yeah.
to actually be on a network or a premium VOD platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we're gonna push for. And of course, I get inspiration from like Issa Rae,
Mm-hmm.
Awkward Black Girl
Mm-hmm.
um,
Now Insecure.
was
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now she's Insecure.
Yeah.
The black and sexy TV folks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I watch their stuff and watch their transition onto BET. So I'm kind of looking for that to happen for us as
Exactly.
well.
Exactly. So these 3 projects, the web series and the 2 features, were you filming them all kind of simultaneously?
No.
Okay.
Repercussions was shot first. That was in the can.
Okay.
Shot that a few years ago. Um, what goes around, sometimes like my mind gets jumbled with so much stuff in my head. So what
You
goes
stay so
around,
busy. You stayed so busy.
I try. So what goes around, we put it out this year,
Mm-hmm.
but I shot it like maybe like last year or the year before last, I want to say.
Okay.
In the web series I started last year May, and we wrapped this year July. So it took us about a year to complete the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of took a break over the past year just to shoot the web series because
Okay.
it was very, very demanding, um, very grueling as well to shoot it.
I'm
You know,
sure.
we shot through all 4 seasons. We started.
Dallas, you there? Let's see. Let's see if we can get Dallas.
Did you hear me?
Okay, now I hear you. The last that I heard from you was that you all shot through all 4 seasons.
Yes. Yeah, we started in the summer. The summer of we started kind of like May, Memorial Day weekend, May,
Mm-hmm.
and then we wrapped of May of 2016, and then we wrapped in July 4th weekend of this year.
Okay. So
No,
May 15 to July
2015. I'm
16.
sorry.
Gotcha.
16. I'm
Gotcha.
sorry.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
Yeah.
So aside from those 3 projects, what's in your future, or what would you like to be in your future?
Well, writing. I'm still writing some cool stuff. Like I have some great ideas for some stuff that I'm gonna write.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm currently writing now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shoot something in the spring. This project called Women in Wine.
Nice
It's
title.
yeah, it's a project that
Oh, lost you again.
gentrification.
Oh.
Yeah, and the film happens in the course of an afternoon,
Uh-huh.
on a block in Brooklyn with all these nice brownstones,
Mm-hmm.
where these women are, like they're on their you know, she's in her little front yard of her brownstone in gentrified Brooklyn, and then you know the cops, they come and mess with her, and then she has this interaction with the cops about being a homeowner, and then it just spirals out of control, and then it kind of goes in a bunch of different directions. But it touches on gentrification and how it affects us,
Yeah.
and how oblivious they can be to how it's affecting us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, so that project, I'm looking to shoot that when it gets a little warmer, because the whole thing takes, not the whole thing, but 70% of it takes place outside of front
Yeah.
her home.
Okay. What are your thoughts, since you kind of touched on it, what are your thoughts or views on being a Black filmmaker, and your voice as a Black filmmaker? Because that project there that you're speaking at, you know, wanting to film, I would say, you know, definitely has to be seen on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think being a Black film, you know, sometimes people say, I'm not a Black filmmaker, I'm just a filmmaker. No, you're a Black filmmaker. But I think finding your voice,
Yeah.
finding your theme, finding what your content is going to be about, what your content is going to represent, is key.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, because this is a business, this is an industry that you're going to try to navigate through, right? So you got to be smart about it. So sometimes you don't want to come across like you're being too preachy.
Yeah.
But you also don't want the content that you're putting out there to not have
Substance.
So you got to find a common ground.
Yeah.
And you know, and like what I found out, like, you know, when you talk about Black issues, or when you talk about things that are passionate about your people, it offends people. It offends Black people, and it offends, you know,
Whoever else,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a Black filmmaker, sometimes you got to find that common ground on how you put the message in there. It has to be impactful, but you're not being too over the top where you're turning people off, where you could still live in a place.
Yeah.
Or have your content live in a place.
Yeah.
But I think as a Black filmmaker, your content either needs to inspire, it needs to give information, or it needs to have something that's going to have whatever you're putting out there not just be so disposable.
Yeah.
You know, like to me, no disrespect for people that make horror films. Horror films to me are disposable, right? Because you watch it, you're scared of that. But then when you have a film that has a socially conscious message to it, it lives forever.
It lives on.
It lives on, and then it could live in a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
You know, like Repercussions is a film that touched on AIDS and HIV awareness. I've screened at high schools, and I've screened at like hospitals, clinics. I've screened at colleges. You know, just because of the content, just because it has that message in it. And I think as a Black filmmaker, I think you have a responsibility to find a voice, find something that you can talk about, something that you're passionate about, and put it in your content.
Yeah.
And find a way to make it entertaining and not overly offensive and overly over the top. But I think you have to have that in there. You have to.
Yeah. I agree. Let's see. We have a question here. Do we have to tread lightly with content because of the viewers or because of the decision makers? Oh, that's a good question.
Do you have to tread? I think sometimes the decision makers, because I think the viewers, I think whatever content you make, you'll find your audience. You'll find your group of people that gravitate to it and watch it. And if people don't get it, they just won't watch. So it's not the
There's
viewer.
something for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like now when you're dealing with the decision makers, you're talking about sponsorships, you're talking about investors,
Yeah.
that might not want to invest in your thing because it may offend some people. It may
Yeah.
make some people, that's why Birth of a Nation, that's why Nate Parker had to go make the money, make the film out of his pocket and had to go ask friends and private investors to make the film because Hollywood wouldn't give him the money.
Right.
So it's kind of like the same thing. I think as a filmmaker, sometimes it's the decision makers that you worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a filmmaker, you always say to yourself, I know once I get this out there, people will love it.
Yeah.
And it's true because whatever you want to make, you can make the goofiest piece of content to the most conscious piece of content. Somebody's gonna like.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna like it. So it's never the viewer. It's the people that are green lighting.
Yeah.
That you have to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good stuff there. That's good stuff. Before we go, any last words of wisdom or pieces of advice for anyone starting out in film or currently in film?
Okay, so
you've already given a bunch of nuggets, but anything else?
I want to say, like if you're starting out, know why you're doing this. Know why you're doing it, because a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people come and go in my time in the business, right? And a lot of people come in to want to do this for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And it's usually they want to make a lot of money, they want to become famous, or they want to get close to famous people, or like they want to get in and then find their way once they're in.
Right.
Like, I just want to be around and then I'll figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
Which I guess is cool, right? But you're going to waste a lot of time doing that, right? Mm-hmm. So I say, once you've made that decision that this is the business that you want to be in, I say, study. Yeah. Try things out. Like if you want to be a director, if you want to write, it costs you nothing to write. It costs nothing to download software. I started writing in Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
And until I was able to buy Final Draft, and now I'm using Celtic. So if you want to write, it costs you nothing.
Yeah.
I say, if you want to direct, if you want to write, watch boatloads of film.
Yeah.
Listen to the content. Listen to the dialogue. Watch. If you want to direct, watch. Study directors. Mm-hmm. Find what your style is, like your theme is. Study cameras, study lighting, study. Yeah. Especially if you're not going to film school.
Yeah. Study. I agree. I agree with you there.
And find or create a network of filmmakers or content makers. It doesn't necessarily be film. Like if there's somebody in your neighborhood, in your town, in your school that are making YouTube videos, see if y'all could collaborate. See if y'all could, get yourself into a circle of like-minded people that are doing the same things.
Yeah.
Go to film festivals. If there's a film festival in your town, go.
Yeah.
If there's a festival somewhere that's not in your town and you might have friends and family in that city, say, hey, I'm coming to your city to go to the festival. Let's go. Like, go.
Yeah.
The first year I went to ABFF, I just went, like, I didn't have a project in it or anything. I just wanted to go.
Yeah. Because you meet a lot of people there that you network with. And like you said, you could be meeting the people that you keep in your circle that are like-minded that you could work on projects with.
Yeah. Yeah. And having said all that, do your own stuff. Do your own thing. Like if you want to produce, hey, reach out to some content makers. Hey, I'm a producer. You got something for me to produce?
Yeah.
College students, independent filmmakers, they're always looking for producers. You want to act? Like I tell actors and actresses all the time, if you create your own roles.
Yeah.
Write a short that's 2 or 3 pages long and make yourself the star.
Yeah.
Find a director that's looking to come up that wants to direct it. It's as simple as that.
That's a good piece of advice. Study and do.
Study and do.
And do.
No excuses for not doing.
Yeah.
No excuses. And even if like right now, like the way the game is, there is no real difference between being here and here. Like Hollywood and independents they're kind of one. They're kind of merged.
Yeah, they're merging, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And like Hollywood is looking down on them, be like, yo, how the hell they got 50 million views? How they got 1 million views?
Yeah.
So it's about doing, and like you'll be surprised how far you could get.
Yeah.
And how much people come looking for you.
For you.
Once you start doing.
That's true. That is true. Now I want to let everyone know where they can find you on social media and your website, and also how they can find out what you're working on. And then I'll also make sure to post it on my Facebook page and when I upload the video and do email blasts. But let's go on and run through it all now.
Okay, I'll start off with my email. So first, if you're trying to reach me by email, DallasAlexis@gmail.com. You can reach me.
DALLASALEXIS@gmail.
Perfect. At Gmail. And it's the same on Facebook. It's Dallas Alexis on Facebook. Dallas Alexis BK on Instagram. I don't really do Instagram. I just have it because they told me, Dallas, you need an Instagram.
You have to have it.
Yeah. So it's pretty much Dallas Alexis across the board. DallasAlexis.com is the website where you can see some of my work. Vimeo.com/Dallas Alexis. And the web series, if you're going to check out the web series, that's New York Underground Kings. See that? New York Underground Kings. And you can find New York Underground Kings on nyukings.com, YouTube. You just put in New York Underground Kings. It'll come up. New York Underground Kings Instagram. We got a lot of pictures, set pictures on the Instagram. New York Underground Kings is the Twitter. You know, we're very active on Twitter. Yeah, and so that's the project that I'm really pushing and really promoting, and we're going on our promo run. You know, my 2 films, Repercussions, What Goes Around, those are still out there in the festival circuit. What Goes Around is coming to TV, probably top of the year next year, so look out for that.
So I'll make sure that when that happens, post it to my Facebook page and do an email blast so everyone can know when that happens.
Absolutely.
Definitely want to thank you for sitting down with me tonight. This is a lot of fun and very informative.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and so for everyone who's watching, if you want to be in the know of when I do my next independent filmmaker chat and who it's with, like my Facebook page at Reel 365. That's REEL-365 on Facebook. I'll post links to our recorded video to the Facebook page. And it'll also be on my YouTube page. If you just search YouTube for Independent Filmmaker Chat, she'll pull up a list of everyone I've interviewed so far. And last, if you want to be a part of the Reel 365 family, go to my website, reel365.com, and click on the sign up button to be informed of chats and film viewings and what's new in the independent filmmaker world. You'll be notified of all those things. Not badgered, promise I won't badger you, but notified of all new things that we have going on and when our launch date will be. So again, I'd like to thank Dallas for sitting down with me tonight. Thank everyone else for watching. Until the next time. Thanks again, Dallas.
Thank you for having me.
All righty. Bye now.
Peace, y'all.